Rightly or wrongly, players are remembered in World Cups for scoring goals. It's not the defenders, it's not the midfield players who get remembered. It's the one who puts the ball into the net. That's why I've gone for Lassana Ndaya from Mali. He's the only player to have scored in every single game. Now that takes some doing. It doesn't matter the standard of the opposition. For you to be on the end of the goal every single time is remarkable. So Lassana Ndaya for Mali, and they're still in the competition, remember. He is my first pick. I've also gone for another striker as my second pick in Jean-Peter Arp of Germany. And the reason I've gone for him is because I felt he dragged them back into the competition. They'd started with a win, but then when they were beaten, not just beaten, slaughtered 4-0 by Iran, you really thought that they could be demoralised. And it was Arp with an early goal, one he took brilliantly from an angle, by the way, who really did pull them up by the bootstraps and get them back in. He then scored another goal, and since then they've not looked back. Arp is one of those players who has lived up to his reputation, no question about that. My third choice, I look for somebody who I think is going to go on to become a big name in the game, simply through the quality you can see. And I've gone for Phil Foden of England, not because I'm English, not because Pep Guardiola has raved about him. He made a brilliant debut for Manchester City against Manchester United this year in a pre-season friendly, but because every time he gets the ball, something happens. He's on the ball with his left foot, his right foot, he wriggles like an eel, he comes in from either angle, he scores goals. He reminds me a bit of a young Chris Waddle, and that's why I've gone for Phil Foden. My fourth choice is from the United States of America, and when you look at Chris Durkin, he can play centre-back, he can play centre midfield, and they've been particularly solid in most of the games. They're still in the competition. They face England, and Durkin for me is the one who has epitomised the American side. I could have gone for 3 or 4 American players. For example, Tim Weah, who scored a wonderful hat-trick in the last game. For me, he scored probably the goal of the tournament as well. But Durkin is the one who has been consistency itself. Well, for the last choice, I had to have an Indian, and Dheeraj, the goalkeeper, for me has become a character. It's nice that a host nation produces one of the players of the tournament, and he was the one who really kept them in the competition in so many ways. You always felt India were going to lose all 3 matches, apart from that moment against Colombia, of course. But he was brilliant in the very first game. He was absolutely outstanding against the United States of America, and he seemed to grow in confidence. And I've read nice articles about him as well, about the fact he's a very grounded boy, keeps his feet on the ground, very ambitious. He told his dad what he wanted to be. His dad didn't want him to be a footballer. He said, I'm going to be a footballer, and I think he can be. And I think he is the one who has epitomised India's World Cup.